Following training.
What's up YouTube, Team 709 here on the No Limit YouTube channel with a deck profile for you guys. I kind of got the okay from Robbie to do this, and I felt like this would be kind of something fun to do because of the current TCG, or the current like Shonen Jump Alpha thing that's going on. I don't know if the voting for that is already finished. I doubt it has though. It involves a card that's actually played in this deck, and we'll get around to that of course when we get around to it. But I would like to kind of also make sure that you all are well aware that this is a fun deck. This is obviously not meant to be 100% competitive. It's meant to be like a competitive version of a fun deck, I guess is a good way to put that. It's still kind of like that tier like 900 status where it's probably not going to ever be a thing, but it's still a lot of fun to play. There's a lot of interesting plays, a lot of interesting card interaction that you can do throughout this entire deck. So I mean, it's just something that this deck is capable of, and it's actually kind of fun to play it just in general. So let's just get into the build, and then I'll explain card choices, stuff like that. Excuse me. Starting off with the monsters, we have 3 Dark Magician, which is basically going to be kind of the heart and soul of this deck. It has no effect, so I really don't need to explain that, or explain anything else about it. Same goes for this, which is Trance the Magic Swordsman, 2600 level 6, which is really nice. It only requires 1 tribute if you decide you need to actually tribute summon, or if the situation calls for you to do that to put something big on board. So there's that. We play 3 Gagaga Magicians, 2 Armageddon Knights, 2 Summoner Monks, and 3 Gagaga Sister. For anyone who does not know what this card does, I will read it off for you right now. It is a Dark level 2 spellcaster effect monster with 200 attack and 800 defense. When this card is normal summoned, you can add 1 Gagaga spell or trap card from your deck to your hand. You can target one other Gagaga monster you control. The levels of both that monster and this card become the combined current levels of those 2 monsters until the end phase. You can only use this effect of Gagaga Sister once per turn. This is currently an OCG exclusive card. There are 2 cards in this deck that are exclusive to the OCG at the moment. One of them will never see TCG play, and this one here will actually be released at some point, hopefully anyways. It's definitely more likely. There's nothing in regards to censorship or anything like that, unlike the other card. We'll get to that when we get to it. But yeah, that's the last monster for the main deck. Spells, we have Allure Darkness, 3 Onomatopoeia. I feel like I'll need to explain this when we get around to actual explanations as well. 2 Ancient Rules, 2 Gagaga Academy Emergency Network, 2 Soul Charge, 1 Swing of Memories, and 3 Gagaga Revenge for these spells. Traps, we have 1 Bottomless, 2 Dimensional Prisons, 2 Breakthrough Skills, 1 Compulsory Evacuation Device, 3 Champions Vigilance. For anyone who does not know what this card does, I will also read this one off as well. It's kind of old. It's just that I'm sure not many people actually know too much about it. It is a counter trap card that reads, if you control a face-up level 7 or higher normal monster, when a monster would be summoned or a spell or trap card is activated, negate the summon or the activation and destroy that card. So level 7 monster that's normal. Doesn't matter if it's tribute summoned or not. Just throwing that out there. And then the last trap being Solemn Warning. Extra deck, we have 1 Mecha Phantom Beast Dracosack, 1 number 11 Big Eye, and the card that's currently up for voting on the Shonen Jump Alpha right now. Dark Magician of Illusions. For anyone who doesn't know what this does either, I will read it off for you as well. It is a Dark rank 7 spellcaster Xyz with an effect, obviously. Requires 2 level 7 monsters. You can also Xyz summon this card by using a rank 6 spellcaster type Xyz monster you control as the Xyz material. Xyz materials attached to that monster also become Xyz materials on this card. Once per turn, you can detach 1 Xyz material from this card. Special summon 1 spellcaster type normal monster from your hand or your deck. When a spellcaster type normal monster declares an attack, you can target 1 card your opponent controls, banish it. You can only use this effect of Dark Magician of Illusions once per turn. So, a pretty disgusting card, if I may say. Being able to just summon either of these from your deck for free, and then being able to banish a card every time they attack. Kind of nice. Just kind of throwing that out there. Continuing on, we have Norito the Moral Leader. It is a it requires 2 level 6 spellcasters, which is not hard for this. It's also a Dolka for spells and traps with higher attack. Ptolemy M7, Photon Strike Bouncer, and Magi Magician Girl. This is the other card I was talking about whenever I was talking about Sister. This card will never it's pretty much 99% confirmed that we're not going to ever get this card, because if I remember correctly, the story goes something along the lines of the creator of the card not wanting it to be censored in any way, and if it ever were to come over here, they would have to censor it, and that's not something that he obviously wanted. So he refuses to let the English card game kind of have this card. For those of you who do not know what it does and actually do intend on continuing playing this for like OCG type of stuff, which I'm pretty sure you kind of have to, unless it's like TCG OCG meta on things like Dev Pro or whatever, and then you can still play the sister. You use 2 level 6 spellcaster type monsters to make it. Once per turn, you can detach an Xyz material from it and banish a card from your hand. You get to activate one of the following effects. The first being target one monster your opponent controls and you gain control of it until the end phase. The second being target a monster in your opponent's graveyard and special summon it to your side of the field. It's very good because you can use this as a material for illusions. Like you can use her effect to discard, or not discard, but banish from your hand and attach a material to take a monster out of your opponent's graveyard and special summon it. Then you can use her to overlay on top, or the Dark Magician of Illusions on top, and use his effect to detach one of the materials, whether it be Magi or the remaining material that she had, and bring out something like Dark Magician from your deck. So it kind of sets up some pretty stupid plays. So I mean, I kind of recommend playing this as a TCG, OCG type of deck at the moment, because Magi is just really good for this deck. Continuing on, after the explanation of that, we have a Silent Honor Arc, an Evil Swarm Exciting Knight, a Levolval Chain, 2 Daigusto Emerald, 1 Abyss Dweller, and 1 Gaga Cowboy. So, explanations, I guess we can start here. Armageddon Knight's played because we happen to play Summoner Monk. Summoner Monk, you can discard any of your spell cards to summon any level 4 from your deck, so you normally will be bringing an Armageddon Knight, unless the situation calls for something else, or if you feel like a better play is provided to you. I guess it's a good way to put that. Normally, you would normal summon Summoner Monk, use the effect, pitch a spell, bring out or Armageddon Knight, use his effect to send the Dark Magician from your deck to the graveyard. Then you would make Daigusto Emerald with the Armageddon Knight and the Summoner Monk, and then you would use Emerald to bring back your Dark Magician from the graveyard. This is partly the reason why we play 3 Champions Vigilance and not like 2 or 1. It allows you to draw into it while also having at least one not surefire, but like a very good way of bringing Dark Magician straight from your deck to the field. So I mean, that's kind of a thing, and then I think that's basically all I really need to explain for Armageddon Knight. The thing is you can also use Armageddon Knight to send Sister or Magician to the graveyard because you're playing Revenge, which is basically a monster reborn for the Gagagas. So like if you happen to have a way to summon back, normally you would probably want to send the Magician just because you can do that and then you can overlay with the Armageddon Knight. But I mean, like if you have a reason for bringing back Sister, like if you already have a Gaga Magician on your field, or if you already have a Revenge or something else, like it's just kind of a thing. Usually you're just going to do that with either Magician or Dark Magician. Like it's basically all you're ever going to use it for. So yeah, I don't really know if I need to explain Sister. She has the ability to combine levels with other Gaga monsters and herself. So the cool thing is you can make Magician of 5, and her 2 plus 5 would equal 7, so you can make Dark Magician of Illusions, Big Eye, or Draco Sack. Immediately, without ever using Magician's effect to adjust himself, you can combine her 2 with his 4 to make a 6. So you can make Norito, Ptolemy, Bouncer, or Magi. You can also just, that's basically what you're going to use Sister for. I mean, you can also, like if you for whatever reason want to go there, you can use her to make a rank 4 as well by making Magician a 2 and then combining the levels to make them both 4s. But I mean, I hardly ever use that, or use them to do that. I don't usually need to make the rank 4 play unless I have to go for Emerald, or if I need to absorb a monster with number 101 or wipe the board because they have more cards than me and things like that. But usually she's there to make the rank 6 or the rank 7 play. That's what, again, I kind of mentioned this at the very beginning of the video. Dark Magician is kind of a big centerpiece for this deck, and making illusions or something else that's higher rank that suits your situation better is usually what you're going to use Sister for. Automona you play this card, which is always nice. The thing is you can discard ideally what I normally do is I would discard this for this, use this to search out Sister, then I would normal summon Sister. If I don't already have one, I would grab Revenge, and because this is in my graveyard, I can Revenge, bring this back, make him a 5, copy the levels and add them up together to make a 7, overlay for this, bring this out, and then if I have something like this, or just like whatever, I can just throw them onto the board and be fine. So I mean, there's that, but that's part of the reason why I'm playing 3 on a Mono Pirate. It kind of helps make sure that things like that happen. On top of that, just being able to discard like your normals and have Soul Charger or even Swing of Memories to bring them back from your graveyard is always nice as well. So having 3 isn't very inconvenient to this deck. Ancient Rules, this is in case you happen to draw into your normal monsters and you happen to be playing 6, which is usually more than enough to draw at least maybe 1 per game. If I find myself not needing it, Summoner Monk is always there to help get it out of my hand and make use of it. So I mean, there's that. Like if I happen to have Summoner Monk and Summoner Monk's literally just an instant Dark Magician, because then I could just discard this, go Armageddon Knight, dump the Magician, make the Emerald, and get the Magician. Like, I don't know if I really need to worry too much about whether or not I can actually use Ancient Rules, because again, Summoner Monk is very useful for that. So, and if I'm not, yeah, you can just send this, and you can send with this, like just send this without a Mono Pirate or whatever. You just discard something, you know. So there's that. This is usually a decent card as well. Like if I want to, I can bring, you know, like this out or whatever, and if I happen to have her or whatever, I can use them to overlay and do whatever. Usually when it comes to something like that, I try to make something like Norito or something else that kind of just hinders the opponent though. It's also good for kind of getting something on board whenever you're like running out of monsters, I guess is a good way to put it. So I mean, there's that. And it's also kind of good because you're playing 3 Revenge, and usually later in the game when you might need Academy to get a monster on board. Revenge is usually also live, so you can usually make a good and very fast Exceed play. Don't know if I really need to explain Soul Charge or Swing of Memories. Swing of Memories actually lets the monster attack, which is always nice. I'm still kind of iffy on the Soul Charge, of course. Not playing very many monsters, a total of 16, but it's also just an overall nice card to be able to just summon a whole bunch of monsters on board. Not to mention get like multiple 7s. Like if I have multiple Dark Magicians in grave, I can get them all back with Soul Charge. But I don't like the idea of playing 3 just because I don't like the inability to attack. I just don't really like that. I don't really care so much about the life points. It's just not being able to attack, because that kind of stops this as well. And I mean, that's one thing, I guess. You know, it's just something that I'm not entirely sure on. Originally I was doing 3 Swing of Memories, but I mean, Soul Charge is a card and getting multiple monsters out is always nice, so there's that. Plus it's also kind of nice if you happen to open Armageddon Knight and you just want to send this to the graveyard, play Soul Charge for 1,000 and just get Dark Magician back for whatever. I mean, there's that. Not to mention these 2 at the same time, being able to copy levels and do stuff, it's just derpy. Don't really need to explain the Swing of Memories, I pretty much already just did that. Champion's Vigilant, it's a Solemn Judgment. I mean, I've already explained this. It's not difficult to get Dark Magician on the board. Summoner Monk is a 1-card, you know, Dark Magician. This and Soul Charge is basically 2-card Dark Magician with, you know, basically you're basically only doing a 1-for-1. It's literally like playing Monster Reborn on Dark Magician for 1,000 life points. Things like that. You also have Dark Magician of Illusions to bring it out from the deck. Playing 3 Champion's Vigilance is not a bad thing for this deck, and again, it's a fun deck, so I mean, you're allowed to do things like this, but the fact that you can negate anything that your opponent does with it is very nice. I mean, I really could, I've tried without this card before, and it's played okay, but it's never been as good with the, it's never been as good as if I have the Vigilances in the deck. I don't know if I need to explain anything in the extra deck. I kind of already explained Magi, and as well as the Dark Magician of Illusions, so again, I don't know if I really need to explain anything else in here. I already explained the Emerald, the Chain's good for dumping Magician or whatever if I happen to have Soul Charge. Same goes for Gaga Magician if I have this. You know, just things like that. It's also good for stacking things like the Summoner Monk, which that way I can just go next turn, summon Dark Magician basically, stuff like that. And I don't really know if I need to explain anything else, so I mean, those are all things. Anyways, next week we will be doing Deck Doctor, so if you guys have a deck that you want to get fixed, be sure to message that into the No Limit YouTube, and we'll hopefully get to it, you know, in the next couple weeks, because obviously we can only do one per week. So yeah, if you have a deck that you want fixed, be sure to message that in. I do hope that you guys enjoyed this deck. It's a lot of fun to play. Again, it's basically a fun deck, so I mean, I don't recommend playing it competitively, of course, but yeah, I figured it'd be something fun to share with you guys. So again, I do hope you guys enjoyed the deck. If you haven't already, don't forget to rate, comment, subscribe. Like I said, if you have a deck that you want fixed, be sure to message it here on the No Limit YouTube channel by going to our channel and go to the About section, and then there should be a thing that says send message, so do that. And yeah, until next time, this is Team709 signing out.